This right here is my favorite panel in the book, and let's find out why in the panel breakdown. Welcome to the panel breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Sardo, inside the Monkeys Fighting Robots studio, and today we are talking about All Against All. This is an indie book of indie books. It got under my skin, and the artwork definitely helped that along the way and like personified the uncomfortable feeling I had reading this book. Like it's the book is good, and I'm excited for the story, the 5-issue story, but the art and the storytelling manner definitely gets under your skin. Like, this is not supposed to be a comfortable book. So we got ALEX PAKNADEL and writing, and then we got CASPAR WIJNGAARD on art, and then we have Hassan doing the letters. Looking at this right now, my list of things that I've talked about, I wrote down, like the panel layout's got some chaos and then some structure. There's some like white and black. The colors are very primal. And then just like looking at this cover, this All Against All comes off very blurry, and then you have all of these colors going on here that just personify chaos. And if we're talking about like nature and nature finds a way, like there's a certain amount of chaos that goes along with that. So I can feel where they're coming from with this story just from the cover. Like, you know, if I knew the premise and then I looked at the cover, I'd be like, oh, I see where we're going with this. The pencils are very fleshy. And then my favorite panels are the ones where there's like shadow, silhouette, and like white space. So let's kind of like flip through this book and see what we have here. Again, this cover, just look at this nice diamond shape it makes with the cover. So you like read this and then you come straight down, you know, and then you have, it's man versus animal, man versus nature. The conflict is there, like in your face. And then you have like this blood splatter everywhere. Like, I like it. And then the colors they're choosing, you know, you have the greens and the blues, and then you have the reds, and then you have like the blacks. Like there's everything just pops. This cover pops like from far away. You look at it and you're like, wow, this thing is just, it's hot. This cover's hot. Right away, you got like this blood, more blood. Like it just, you're like, okay, what is going on? And then this is what I was talking about with the white panels. This right here, it makes me feel of like either, I'm going to use the word chaos a lot with this book. It's because it's like these panels are ripped off the page, or they're, the way they're like put down, you know, they're cut up jaggedly and then put down. So there's a lot of chaos with these border panels, and like the use of the negative space, like brings out a lot of emotion right here. I'm just noticing this yellow here. I wonder what that means. I think that's more of the aliens setting up bodies and stuff. And then like just this animal is just so uncomfortable to look at. Like right away, like first you have the blood, then you have the eye, and you're like, oh shit, he doesn't have another eye. And then like you're like, where did he come from, or where did she come from? And you got this big paw, like you know that some damage is gonna come down. And then you automatically, like, we're 2 pages in, and then we have action. And I think this is one of the most important things when it comes to a comic book is getting to the action as quickly as possible. Telling your story, but also engaging the reader. So this is really good that, like, we're on page 2, and then we're having a fight between a gorilla and a polar bear. I mean, like, that's how you start a book, a comic book. You know, it's like, hey, what are we going to do? Well, I got this gorilla and polar bear fighting on page 2. And look at this grit right here. That is a nice, I mean, just imagine if it was like up and down. Like there would be no movement, but you tilt it a little bit and you're like, oh, look, this is just a swiping blow kind of thing going there. And I'm just noticing these like action marks on the boxes here. There's again, this book makes you uncomfortable. There's blood. Things are not structured the way they would normally be. And then there's always things kind of moving. You know, like this, all of this blood just coming out of nowhere. And then just how everything kind of lays out. Like, look at this panel right here. You know, that's conflict. That's conflict right there. That's man versus beast. All the conflict is like in your face, like right away. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the eyes because there's always like one eye that's jacked up or different than the other one. Here the eyes are normal, but that could be from a distance. And this gorilla just manhandles. And I think that's the other thing that's really, really disturbing is the violence is vicious and like it is in your face. There's no pulling back. I mean, look at I like these action words. I mean, it gets lost here, but like there's still stuff going on. And then this solid break here is like end of sequence. It's really good. And yeah, look at the bear. I mean, oh man, the bears, that's a different, I don't know. You first look at the aliens. There's a lot of stuff going on with colors here. Like why is this alien red? This one blue, this one orange. I mean, I've read way too much Green Lantern for these colors not to mean anything. And I do like how they have the dialogue in different colors. You can kind of tell who's talking. He's got two different eyes. Look at this layout here. You got like a nice rule of thirds with the words going here. Got some hierarchy and some blocking. Almost like, oh man, I wonder if it's like evolutionary, the way it's set up, you know, because you have your primates here, bears, these aliens that are looking for something. So they're looking to evolve. So you still have this white border. And then look at that. That just comes in just out of nowhere. Like, okay, so let's flip back and see what we got here. We're talking and eyeballs are going here. And then you see this like little, and you hear, oh man, there is definitely words here. So there's something going on. So there's a setup to this. Oh, this is good. So you have like this nice, like, it's a 2. Look at it. It's a 2. Boom. And then you come to here to page turn. There is some hint of what's going to happen. And then boom, there it is. And just a vicious blow right on top of the words here to direct your eye. Boom, 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 boom. And there's a few panels like this where they're using silhouettes, white space, to just really quiet the panel down and have you focus on either the action or the words they're saying. And like, you just saw everything we went through. Then you get to this white page and you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And like, you get silent, everything gets silent. And then there is a definitive action that happens on this page. And it's all right there. And that's some really good storytelling here. And look at these nice angles. Everything's got nice angles. This panel right here. Who I am you and me. Like this is right here where it's like, here's aliens, here's humans. Are these aliens humans from the future? Like you start questioning like, who are these aliens? This is a human. Like, I mean, I've seen Star Trek, the motion picture, like V'ger being Voyager, like going far out, not realizing what it is when it comes back, like going here, like you could have that kind of story element going on there. But this moment right here is what gives you a glimpse and makes you start thinking about, like, what is this story about? Where are we going? And then, like, again, it's a very, the white space and like the chaos of all these panels. And then I think when do we turn off? So this right here. And then, okay, so we end here. Years later, Earth orbit. Okay, so maybe this is the end of the story from here, and then you go to the black panels. But I first interpreted it as this being the chaotic world that they're in, and the black panels being the structured when you're on the ship and you're not in this environment that they've created. Because this is very structured, very sanitary, very it's a controlled environment, where this is chaos. So that's what I took from these different panels was chaos, controlled environment, because these panels do come back later on in the story. But, this is definitely a solid break to be like, here's a flashback, here's current day, using the white panels, the black panels. So there's lots of good things here. And here's another nice silhouette right here, which makes you really focus on the words, since it's not like an action thing like the previous page. But that works really well. And again, like, we've heard pigs squeal in movies. We've seen sharp objects before. Like, this is how they get under your skin. This is, you have a close up of pig, close up of the tools they're going to use on the pig. No need for anesthesia. Like, this is going to be a very painful moment here. And it gets under, like, this right here is like, I'm under your skin. If you're not compassionate, you won't feel this. But if you're a compassionate person, you're like, oh man, the little twinge, I don't want to turn the page and see more. But then you still turn the page. And you're like, what is going to happen here? And then they have a conversation and they don't hurt the pig. But then you get to like this scene here and you're like, okay, more uncomfortableness. Like, well, I mean, I'm trying to think if you could definitely make more uncomfortable scenes, but like, a bloody deer, trying to procreate with another bloody deer, like, and then there's commentary on it, like there's the voyeurism of this too, like there's so many different elements of uncomfortability to this. I'm trying to think if the green means anything, but then like you go to this red and the backgrounds are always interesting here. Trying to figure out what's going on. And then like you look over here, you're like, they're growing things as well, growing things here. Like they've established that they're trying to like build a new body for themselves to fight a war. I mean, that's in the first, opening paragraph of what this book's about. But then you're trying, as a reader, you're like looking through this being like, okay, what is the mystery and how is this going to unfold? And I talk about the artwork being very fleshy. Like, look at this. This could just be a normal, very geometric shaped spaceship. I mean, their bodies are very kind of geometric shape, covered in things, but like this is very fleshy, very fleshy. And that adds to the disturbingness of it. Like I think if the ship was more geometric, futuristic, what we've kind of seen before in, films and in comic books, I don't think it'd be as disturbing. But this fleshiness, it again adds to getting under your skin and making you uncomfortable. I talk about fleshiness, like deer dies, vultures pick eyeball out immediately. I like this vulture here. I do like these aliens. Their designs are very good. Again, these are, fleshy characters without skin, but like there's more to it than that. It's so good. And then, you know, they have the alien legs, but look at that. There's so much detail in that face. And like when you're reading it, you're trying to put a voice to this character looking like this, and it's not easy. Yeah, I thought this person was slaughtered at this point in time. But that's a nice, like, red equaling rage, some nice action lines. There's some solid, like, I don't know, blurredness to this with movement. And then it's wham. Like, this is a solid action sequence right there. And then you have the reveal. It's another fleshy beast. Like, it's so fleshy and so uncomfortable. It's like nobody has skin. They literally get under your skin by showing you people with no skin. Ah. Oh, I like these colors here. That really pops. You got the red and yellow, but then you put this blue in like teal-ish color there, but that like really pops off of there. And then you bring in this new character. Ah, more flesh. Ah, ah. There's blood everywhere. Like, this is the dirtiest ship ever. This is the dirty. It's like disgusting. I don't know how they make it work. Oh man, it's so good. But then look at this. Look at this panel layout. You know, right here. So you got some. I'm trying to see the colors. Purple, fading to yellow, and then you got red. He's holding his. We've seen this before when he tried to defend himself. So you show this like knife or shiv, and you have a nice red background. So there's definitely some anger there. You have some like yellow over here. So we're getting some emotions from these two characters. And that's just, so you're reading the book and you're like, okay, I feel a certain way. Why do I feel a certain way? It's that red, it's that yellow that pops in your face. It's these little things that highlight the emotional experience of reading comic book. And they shouldn't be overlooked. One panel with a red background. And you're like, oh man, that guy's really angry. How'd you know that? Well, he's got a little shake. He's got a little red. There's a lot of anger going on there. Or desperation. I mean, like, there's a lot of emotions that you can pull from this. You know, the army's coming in to take over their experiment. We've seen that story before. You're working on a nice experiment, trying to save the world. Military comes in and tries to take it over. There's a lot of desperation going on there. Humans getting slaughtered. Are humans extinct? There's a little flashback of where the animals came from. We know we're already doing this. Like, this is a plausible story. We all die, and then aliens come in a long time from now, and they recreate society. But these panels, man, these white panels with the silhouette and the white background, they just silence the brain so well. And it makes you just focus on those words. And this is so ominous. Oh, look at these aliens' faces. Again, the book gets under your skin by showing you characters with no skin. That's crazy. I like this panel sequence. Comic book storytelling in 3 acts. And I love how everything is a specimen. Everything is a specimen in this book. The characters are specimens. The animals and what they're working on are specimens. Like, everybody in this book is under the microscope. Oh, man. And that could be a whole, like, if everybody's under the microscope, like, these are slides. And then, like, you know how you put iodine on a slide and you change the color to highlight the different things? Oh, man, if you look at everything like a slide under a microscope, that changes my whole perspective on this book. Because you're coming at it from a science background. Like, these are scientists trying to save the world. And they have the military. And then you have, like, the chaos of the human element. Like, oh, so good. This is layers upon layers upon layers. And this is why I like talking about comic books. I mean, we've taken a one-page or first issue of a book, and we've just keep expanding on the different elements here. Oh, look. Okay, so here we are. Let's go back. So there, look at this panel. Like, very structured. Everything's very rigid. All these, I mean, it's still painted. There's still some like artistic merit to it, but like this black really makes it very structured and rigid. And then we go into the experimental land, like where the animals are, and then it turns white, and these panels become looser as chaos is introduced. Oh man, it's so good. These bats, I can hear them screaming. There's always something that makes you like, I can hear the growl from these dogs. And you can feel the breath. It's very hot. Yeah, it's very humid. But yeah, look at all this blood just makes me so uncomfortable. And then things kind of clear up. Yeah, I like this. This is a nice. Just, you're like, what? And you're like, okay, the punchline's here. And it's like, whoa. And you're looking up. And you see all this other stuff. And then you get to the big reveal. Man, the boy's grown up. And he's got wolves that never clean their faces. Yeah, this book is chaos. I like it. I like it a lot. So much chaos going on in this book. And it's basically because of, you have Alex's writing that's setting up the story. And then you have Caspar's, art style that melds well with Alex's writing. And then Hassan gives you nice letter work that makes this book very easy to read. But yeah, no, there's some really good stuff in here. I think my favorite panel, it's very disturbing, but like my favorite panel is this right here. I mean, like I mean, I like animals. So seeing an animal die definitely gets under me, but like this gets all quiet. And then you're just like, it's a lot of sadness for me. But there's so much emotion in this panel that's so simplified compared to everything else. Where everything else is meant to just get under your skin. And this is like, all right, we're going to hold you in a moment. And then, boom. Sadness. Hi. All Against All. It's a good book. It's worth your time. So, it came out last week. Go to your local comic book shop, see if they have copies. I didn't realize that this book was going to be so emotional or like heavy to kind of break apart. Again, I watched it, like I look at that scene, I'm like, it's emotionally draining. Like, but it's powerful. Like, I want to come all more punchy and be all like, yay. But like, I just read a whole bunch of animals get killed and a human just be, trying to survive, and then like aliens are getting ripped apart and everything's been under my skin. Like, I mean, there's so many different genres in comic books, and there's a book out there for everybody. But like, this is really good, but it's also like emotionally taxing. So Alex, thank you so much for creeping me out. And I can't wait to read the second issue. All right, guys, I'm signing off after this one. This is the panel breakdown in the Monkeys Fighting Robots studio, and I will talk to you next week.